I stare at the birthday cake, watching 45 tiny flames dance across the frosting. Each one mocks me, reminding me how many years I've wasted believing family meant something sacred. My son Jason stands behind his wife Emily, his hands on her shoulders, while she wears that plastic smile I've grown to despise. "Make a wish, Mother," Emily says, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness. I close my eyes, not because I believe in wishes anymore, but because I need a moment to compose myself. The room feels smaller than it did this morning, like the walls of my own home are closing in around me. "Come on, Mom," Jason urges, and I hear that new edge in his voice, the one that appeared right after he married her. I'm Summer, and this is the last birthday I'll celebrate in my own house, though I don't know it yet. The flames blur as I lean forward. One breath, and they're gone, leaving only wisps of smoke and the lingering scent of burnt wax. The silence that follows feels heavy, loaded with unspoken accusations. "Well," Emily says, already reaching for the knife, "let's cut this, shall we?" "I can cut my own cake," I say, reaching for the knife. Our fingers brush, and she pulls back as if burned. "I'm only trying to help, Summer. You always make everything so difficult." "Do I?" I set the knife down harder than necessary. "Like when I helped with the wedding? Or when I watched Lily every weekend while you two were finding yourselves during that spiritual retreat?" Jason steps forward. "Mom, please, not today." "When then, Jason? When do I get to speak in my own home?" Emily's face hardens. "About that." She glances at Jason, who suddenly finds the floor fascinating. "We've been meaning to talk to you." The cake sits forgotten between us, its perfect white frosting starting to sag in the afternoon heat. Lily, my granddaughter, shifts uncomfortably in her chair, her phone forgotten in her lap. "We think it's time for a change," Emily continues. "This arrangement, it's not working anymore." "Arrangement?" The word tastes bitter. "This is my house. I raised Jason here after his father died. And we're grateful," Emily says, though her tone suggests anything but. "But Jason and I need our own space, to grow as a family." "We are a family." "Mom," Jason finally looks up, and I see Emily's influence in his eyes. "We found you a nice apartment. It's close to the community center, and—" "You what?" The room spins slightly. "You've been planning this? Behind my back?" "Don't be dramatic," Emily sighs. "We're trying to help you start fresh. You're still young enough to build your own life." I laugh, and it sounds strange even to my ears. My life is here, with my son, my granddaughter. "That's the problem." Emily steps closer, dropping her voice. "You can't let go. You're suffocating us with your presence." The knife gleams on the table between us. I watch my hand reach for it, not to threaten, just to hold something solid while my world crumbles. Emily flinches backward. "Jason, see? This is exactly what I've been telling you." "Mom, put the knife down." Jason's voice shakes. "You're proving her point." "I wasn't. But it doesn't matter what I wasn't going to do. The story's already written in their minds." "You have until tomorrow evening," Emily says, her voice steady now that she has the upper hand. "We'll help you pack." "Tomorrow?" The word comes out as a whisper. "You're giving me 24 hours to leave my home?" "It's for the best." Jason won't meet my eyes anymore. "We'll make sure you're settled." Lily stands suddenly, tears streaming down her face, and runs upstairs. Nobody follows her. I look at the cake, at the smoke still rising from the candles, at the knife in my trembling hand. 45 years of memories in this house, and they're giving me 24 hours to pack them away. "Happy birthday to me," I say, and carefully set the knife down. Won't give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. Not yet. But as I walk upstairs to start packing, I make a different kind of wish. One that has nothing to do with candles and everything to do with justice. The motel room smells like stale cigarettes and broken dreams. 3 cardboard boxes contain what's left of my life. Photo albums, legal documents, and the few precious mementos I managed to grab before Jason practically shoved me out the door. Mark sits in the threadbare armchair, watching me pace between the bed and window. You need to eat something, Summer. He pushes a takeout container toward me. I need my house back. My fingers trace the windowsill, collecting dust. You should have seen Emily's face when she called the police, like she was the victim. She called the cops? Mark straightens in his chair. When I refused to leave, said I was trespassing. A bitter laugh escapes me. In my own home, the one I paid off 15 years ago. What about the deed? In Jason's name. I transferred it last year when... I stopped pacing. When Emily suggested it would help them qualify for a better mortgage rate. God, I was so stupid. Mark's phone buzzes. He glances at it, then holds it out to me. Speaking of Emily, it's a social media post, a photo of Emily, Jason, and Lily in front of my house. The caption reads, "Fresh start for our little family. Sometimes the hardest choices are the most necessary. Hashtag blessed, family first." The phone slips from my trembling fingers onto the bed. She's already redecorating, I whisper. Lily texted me pictures. They're painting over the height marks on the kitchen doorframe. 22 years of measuring Jason, gone under a coat of Moroccan sunset, or whatever the hell Emily calls it. Summer! A knock at the door cuts him off. We freeze, exchanging glances. Another knock, more insistent. Mom? Jason's voice. I know you're in there. Mark's car is outside. Mark raises an eyebrow, asking silently if I want him to answer. I shake my head and move to the door myself, taking a deep breath before opening it. Jason stands there, holding a small box. He looks uncomfortable in his expensive button-down shirt. Emily's taste, not his. You forgot some things, he says, not quite meeting my eyes. Did I forget them, or did you prevent me from taking them? He shifts his weight. Emily we thought you might want these. He holds out the box. Inside are some old Christmas ornaments and a few framed photos. How generous of you both. The words taste like acid. Tell me, was this before or after she changed the locks? Mom, please. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Am I? Tell me, Jason, when did you start believing her lies about me? Was it before or after she convinced you to put the house in your name? His face hardens. Emily was right. You always do this. Twist everything to make yourself the victim. The victim? I step closer, forcing him to look at me. I raised you alone after your father died. I worked 2 jobs to keep that house. I was there for every scraped knee, every broken heart, every triumph and failure. And now you're throwing me away like yesterday's garbage because your wife decided I'm inconvenient? That's not... He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture so familiar it hurts. You're suffocating us, Mom. Always hovering, always judging Emily's decisions about our family. Your family? The laugh that escapes me sounds foreign, almost hysterical. I'm your family! And Emily is my wife! He shouts back, then immediately looks around, embarrassed by his outburst. Look, we've set up an account for you. There's enough money for a few months' rent while you figure things out. I stare at him, this stranger wearing my son's face. Keep your money. And your pity. Mom! Tell Emily congratulations. I start to close the door. She finally got what she wanted. What's that supposed to mean? Ask her about Richard. The name makes him flinch. Ask her what happened to her last husband's mother. Or better yet, don't. Ignorance seems to be working so well for you. I shut the door on his confused face and lean against it, listening to his footsteps fade away. When I turn around, Mark is watching me with a mixture of concern and admiration. Richard? He asks. Emily's ex-husband. I move to the window, watching Jason's car pull away. I did some digging last night. Turns out I'm not the first mother-in-law she's displaced, just the latest in a pattern. Summer, Mark's voice carries a warning. What are you planning? I touch the window glass, cool and solid under my fingers. I'm planning to show my son exactly who he married, and this time, I'm not playing nice. The coffee shop feels too bright, too normal for the conversation we're about to have. Derek, Emily's brother, sits across from me, his fingers drumming against his cup. Mark arranged this meeting, calling in favors I didn't know he had. Emily doesn't know I'm here, Derek says, his voice barely above a whisper. If she found out, she won't. I lean forward, but I need to understand what happened with Richard. Derek's fingers stop drumming. Richard was a mistake, like the others. Others? He glances around the cafe, paranoid. Emily has a pattern. She finds men with close family ties, especially to their mothers. Strong families fascinate her because we never had one. A barista drops a cup somewhere behind us, and Derek jumps. I notice the slight tremor in his hands, the dark circles under his eyes. You're afraid of her, I realize. You don't know what she's capable of. He pulls out his phone, scrolls through photos. Richard's mother, Margaret, before Emily. He shows me a picture of a vibrant woman in her 60s, surrounded by family. And after, the next photo shows the same woman, but diminished somehow. Isolated, broken. Emily convinced Richard that Margaret was manipulating him, trying to control their marriage. Sound familiar? Derek's laugh is hollow. Within a year, Margaret was in a nursing home. Richard thought it was his idea. My coffee turns bitter in my mouth. And Richard? Lost everything in the divorce. Emily had already transferred most of their assets. Derek swallows hard. He didn't survive the winter. They called it an accident. The cafe suddenly feels airless. Are you saying? I'm not saying anything. Derek's voice sharpens. I'm just telling you what happened. What always happens. A text lights up my phone. It's from Lily. Grandma, something's wrong. Mom found your old letters to Dad. She's burning them in the backyard. My hands start shaking. Those letters, written to Jason's father before he died, were all I had left of him. Excuse me, I manage to say, standing so quickly my chair scrapes against the floor. Derek grabs my wrist. Wait, there's more you need to know. My letters. Emily's pregnant. The words hit like a physical blow. I sink back into my chair. She told the family last night. Derek won't meet my eyes. She's using it to cement her position. Jason's overjoyed. She's 40, I whisper. She told Jason she couldn't have more children. That's why they never... Emily always knows what she needs to survive. Derek finally looks at me. The baby will give her total control. You'll never get Jason back now. Another text from Lily. Mom's saying weird things about you, about how you tried to poison her relationship with Dad from the beginning. She has proof. Proof? I say out loud. Derek's expression changes. Oh God, the diary. What diary? Emily keeps a diary of evidence, things she twists and manipulates. Conversations taken out of context, innocent moments reframed as threats. She's been doing it for years. My phone buzzes again. This time it's from Jason. How could you, Mom? Emily showed me everything. Don't contact us again. The cafe walls start closing in. Derek reaches across the table, his voice urgent. Listen to me. You can't fight her directly. She's already positioned you as the villain. The pregnant wife versus the jealous mother-in-law. Who do you think people will believe? Then what am I supposed to do? Watch her destroy everything I have left? No. Derek pulls out a USB drive, slides it across the table. You're supposed to be smarter than Margaret was, than Richard was, than I was. What's on it? Everything. Financial records, medical records, the truth about what happened to Richard. He stands up. But be careful. Emily has friends in strange places. If she suspects you have this, why are you helping me? Derek pauses, and for a moment, I see the weight of years of guilt in his eyes. Because someone needs to stop her, and because I'm tired of watching mothers lose their children. He walks away, leaving me with a USB drive that feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds and another text from Lily. Grandma, please. Mom's different when you're not around. I'm scared. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of every decision that led to this moment. When I open them, I know what I have to do. Emily wanted a war. Now she'll get one. The USB drive sits on Mark's kitchen table like a loaded gun. My laptop hums as it copies Richard's financial records, each file a bullet aimed at Emily's carefully constructed life. "You're crossing a line here," Mark says, pouring more wine. "Once you start this, there's no going back." I scroll through another document, my fingers trembling slightly. "Emily crossed the line when she burned those letters." "Summer? Look at this!" I turn the screen toward him. 3 months before Richard's accident, Emily transferred nearly everything into offshore accounts. The timing— A knock at the door freezes us both. Mark moves to answer it, but I grab his arm. Through the window, I catch a glimpse of Lily's face, tear-streaked and pale. "Jesus," Mark whispers, opening the door. "Lily, what happened?" She bursts in, looking over her shoulder, like she's being chased. "Mom's lost it. She's telling everyone you're mentally unstable, Grandma. That you've been stalking her, threatening her and the baby." My stomach turns. "What baby?" "She's pregnant," Lily's voice cracks. "But that's not— I found something in her study. About Richard." The USB drive feels heavy in my pocket. "What about him?" "Pictures, documents. She has this whole file about how she—" Lily stops, wrapping her arms around herself. "I think she hurt him, really hurt him, and now she's saying things about you that sound just like—" Headlights sweep across the windows. Lily freezes. "That's Dad's car," she whispers. "I didn't tell them I was coming here." Mark moves quickly, grabbing my laptop. "Back door, now." We slip into the darkness of his backyard, just as Jason's voice carries through the house. "Mark? We know they're here." Lily grabs my hand, pulling me toward the garden gate. "Mom has the police on speed dial. She's going to say you kidnapped me." "I didn't." "I know." She squeezes my hand. "But she has evidence. She always has evidence." We make it to my car, parked a block away. As I start the engine, I see Emily emerge from Jason's car, one hand protectively over her stomach. Even from here, I can see her triumphant smile. "She's going to destroy you like she destroyed Richard's mother," Lily says as we pull away. Unless what? Unless we destroy her first." Lily pulls out her phone, showing me a video. "I recorded her talking to someone named Marcus last week. About Richard's accident. About what really happened." My hands tighten on the steering wheel. "Lily, are you sure you want to?" "She's poisoning Dad against everyone who loves him, just like she did with Richard." Lily's voice hardens. "And now there's going to be another baby, another person for her to control." Police sirens wail in the distance. I take a sharp turn, heading toward the highway. "Where are we going?" Lily asks. "Somewhere safe." I glance at her. "But first, you need to understand what you're getting into. This isn't just about exposing Emily anymore. This is about survival." "I know." She clutches her phone like a weapon. "That's why I made copies. Of everything." My phone buzzes with a text from Mark. "Emily filed a restraining order. Police are looking for you both. Be careful." Another message follows, from Jason. "How could you take my daughter? Emily's having contractions from the stress. If anything happens to our baby—" I switch off the phone, feeling something cold and certain settle in my chest. Emily wanted to paint me as the villain? Fine. Sometimes the only way to fight a monster is to become one. "Grandma?" Lily's voice is small in the darkness. "What are we going to do?" I think of the USB drive in my pocket, of Richard's mysterious accident, of Emily's perfectly crafted evidence. "We're going to give your mother exactly what she expects. Sometimes the best way to spring a trap is to step right into it." The highway stretches ahead, dark and empty. Behind us, blue lights flash in the distance. But for the first time since this all began, I'm not running away. I'm running towards something. And Emily has no idea what's coming. The motel room feels like a cage. Lily sleeps fitfully on one bed while I sit at the small desk, sifting through Richard's financial records on my laptop. Each document reveals another layer of Emily's manipulation. Bank transfers, forged signatures, carefully orchestrated accidents. My phone vibrates. A text from an unknown number. "Meet me at Riverside Park, 1 a.m. Come alone. Derek." I glance at Lily, then at the clock. 12:37 a.m. The park is deserted when I arrive. Streetlights casting long shadows across empty benches. Derek emerges from behind a tree, looking more haunted than ever. Emily knows about the USB drive, he says without preamble. She's already moved the money. What money? The insurance payout from Richard's death. She's been keeping it in a hidden account, but now… He runs a hand through his hair. She's desperate, Summer. She's talking about leaving the country. With my son? With everything. The baby, Jason's inheritance, all of it. He steps closer. But that's not the worst part. A twig snaps somewhere in the darkness. Derek flinches. Marcus is back, he whispers. The man who helped her with Richard's accident. I saw them meeting yesterday. Cold fear grips my spine. You think she's planning? I think she's cornered. And cornered animals are the most dangerous. He presses something into my hand. A burner phone. If anything happens to me, everything I know is on here. The real story about Richard, about our parents, about… Headlights sweep across the park. Derek disappears into the shadows as a familiar car pulls up. Emily steps out, her pregnancy barely showing under her expensive coat. Well, she says, smiling that perfect smile. Isn't this cozy? How did you… Derek's always been predictable, she pats her stomach. Family loyalty only goes so far, doesn't it? More cars arrive. Jason emerges from one, looking confused. 2 police cruisers block the park exits. Officers, Emily calls out, her voice trembling perfectly. This is her, the woman who's been threatening me and my unborn child. That's not true. We have the evidence, Mrs. Harrison, one officer says, approaching with handcuffs. Multiple witnesses saw you following Mrs. Harrison today. We found threatening notes. What notes? Emily pulls out familiar-looking paper, the same type I used for those letters to Jason's father, the ones she burned. You're sick, Summer. You need help. Jason, I turn to my son. You can't believe this. But he's looking at the ground again, one arm around Emily's shoulders. The doctors said the stress could harm the baby, Mom. You have to stop. The baby that conveniently appeared right when you needed it? The words escape before I can stop them. Emily's face crumples in practiced anguish. How dare you? First Richard's baby, now mine. What did you say about Richard's baby? Something flashes across Emily's face, real fear quickly masked. Officers, please, I don't feel safe. As they approach with handcuffs, I make a decision. I reach for my phone, ready to send everything on that USB drive to every contact I have. Emily sees the movement. She's got a weapon! Everything happens at once. The officers lunge forward. Jason shouts. Emily smirks. And in that split second, I see it all. How perfectly she's orchestrated this moment. How completely she's turned my own son against me. But she's forgotten one thing. Mom! Lily's voice rings out across the park. She steps into the light, holding up her phone. I got it all. The whole conversation, including what you just said about Richard's baby. Emily's mask slips. For just a moment, I see the real her, the calculating predator beneath the perfect wife facade. Lily, she says, reaching out. Sweetheart, you don't understand. I understand everything. Lily's voice shakes but holds firm. And so will the police, once they see what's really on that USB drive. The one Derek gave you tonight wasn't the only copy. The park falls silent, except for the soft whir of police radios. Emily's hand drops to her stomach, but this time the gesture looks less protective and more like she's holding on to her last weapon. Jason looks between us all, lost and confused, and I realize this is it, the moment where everything either falls apart or comes together. The truth is within reach, but so is total destruction. The question is, which path leads to which? The police station's fluorescent lights make everything look sickly and unreal. I sit in the interrogation room, my wrists raw from the handcuffs, while Detective Morris reads through Emily's carefully crafted evidence. Multiple threatening messages, he says, spreading out papers. Stalking complaints, witness statements about your erratic behavior. Those are forgeries. Like the USB drive you claim to have? He raises an eyebrow. The one our tech team couldn't access? My stomach drops. I think of Derek's face in the park, his warning about Emily moving money. Of course she'd have someone ready to corrupt the files. The door opens. Emily walks in, supported by Jason. She looks perfectly fragile in her designer maternity dress. "I'll make this brief," she says, touching her stomach. "The doctors are concerned about my blood pressure." "You don't have to be here," Jason tells her, all protective concern. "I do." She dabs at her eyes with a tissue. "Summer needs to understand what she's doing to this family." Detective Morris steps out, giving us privacy. I notice he leaves the door slightly open, probably recording everything. "Drop the act," I say. "We both know you're not really pregnant." Emily's face crumples. "Jason, do you hear how she's still trying to hurt us? Even now?" "Mom, stop." Jason's voice is hard. "We have the medical records, the ultrasounds, forged like everything else about her. Like Richard's baby?" Emily's voice turns sharp. "The one you claim What exactly are you accusing me of, Summer?" The trap springs shut. I realize too late what she's done. Led me straight into making accusations that sound completely unhinged. "Tell them about Marcus," I try. "About the insurance money." "Marcus?" Emily looks confused. "Jason, isn't that the name of your mother's imaginary friend from her diary?" "What diary?" She pulls out a worn notebook. My handwriting, but words I never wrote. Pages of paranoid ramblings about conspiracies and imaginary conversations. "We found it when we were packing her things," Emily says softly. That's when we realized how sick she'd become. "That's not mine." "Mom," Jason steps forward, "we've arranged for you to get help. A facility in Vermont." "No!" I stand up so quickly my chair crashes backward. "I'm not crazy. Lily has proof. She recorded." "Lily's recording was corrupted," Emily interrupts. "Just like that mysterious USB drive. Technology can be so unreliable when you're unstable." The walls seem to close in. "Where is Lily?" "Safe," Emily says. "Away from your influence." "What did you do to her?" "She's at a boarding school in Switzerland," Jason says, "where you can't reach her." My legs give out. I sink to the floor, understanding finally hitting me. Emily hasn't just taken my son and my home. She's taken my granddaughter, my evidence, my credibility, everything. "The facility has an excellent success rate," Emily continues, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Once you're better, maybe we can discuss supervised visits. With the baby." She takes Jason's hand, placing it on her stomach. The gesture is so perfectly calculated, it makes me sick. "You won't get away with this," I whisper. Emily leans down, her mask slipping for just a moment. "I already have. Richard tried to expose me too, right before his accident. And Derek, well, accidents happen all the time." "What did you say about Derek?" She straightens up, mask back in place. "Oh dear, she's getting agitated. Jason, perhaps we should—" "I'll call the doctor," he says, reaching for his phone. "No, wait!" But the serum already leaving. "Gee." Emily's theatrical sniffles echoing down the hall. Detective Morris returns with a psychiatrist. They speak in low voices about involuntary commitment, about my paranoid delusions. My phone sits on the table, dead and useless. The USB drive is corrupted. Lily is gone. Derek is... I don't want to think about what Emily's words implied about Derek. Through the window, I watch Emily and Jason walk to their car. She turns back, just for a moment, and smiles. That same smile she wore when she burned my letters, when she took my home, when she stole my son. The psychiatrist approaches with admission papers, and I realize with cold clarity that this isn't rock bottom. This is just the beginning of how far Emily plans to make me fall. The psychiatric facility's garden is beautiful, but it's still a cage. 3 weeks of medication and therapy have left me foggy, compliant. Exactly what Emily wanted. I watch other patients shuffle through their daily routines, wondering if they too were put here by someone else's lies. Then Mark appears on my scheduled visiting day, and everything changes. "Derek's alive," he says without preamble. He's in intensive care, but he's talking. The fog in my mind clears instantly. What happened? Car accident that wasn't an accident. He recorded everything before Emily's guy ran him off the road, including her confession about Richard's death. My hands shake as I process this. The USB drive was a decoy. The real evidence is with Richard's sister in Boston. She's been building a case against Emily for years. A nurse watches us suspiciously from across the garden. I lower my voice. Why are you telling me this now? Because Emily's planning to leave the country tonight. Private jet to Switzerland, where Lily is. Mark's eyes meet mine. She's taking Jason and the insurance money. All of it. She can't. She can. Unless what? Mark slips me a phone and a key card. Unless you stop playing by her rules. The next hours blur together. A fire alarm. Confusion in the halls. Somehow, I'm in Mark's car, racing toward the private airfield where Emily's escape plan is already in motion. We arrive to see Emily directing movers loading a private jet. Jason helps, looking lost and tired. There's no sign of her pregnancy bump anymore. No need to maintain that lie when she's about to disappear. Hello, Emily. She spins around, her perfect mask slipping for just a moment. How did you— Jason, call security! Before you do that, I hold up my phone. You might want to hear what your brother has to say. Derek's recorded voice fills the air. Emily arranged everything. Richard's accident, the insurance fraud, all of it. She's done this before, and she'll do it again. Lies! Emily snaps. But Jason has stopped moving, really listening for the first time. The baby was a lie too, I continue. Just like it was with Richard. Just like everything about you is a lie. Jason! Emily's voice turns sugary. Your mother is clearly having another episode. We should— Should what? I step closer. Have me committed? Stage another accident? How many people have you destroyed, Emily? I don't know what you're talking about, but her eyes dart toward the jet. Richard's sister sends her regards. She's very interested in reopening the investigation into her brother's death. Emily's mask cracks completely. You stupid woman! You have no idea what you're doing. Jason, get in the plane. Jason, I say quietly. Check her phone. Look for messages from Marcus about Derek's accident. Don't you dare! Emily lunges for Jason, but he's already got her phone, reading with growing horror. Mom? His voice sounds young suddenly. What is all this? Oh, for God's sake! Emily snarls, dropping all pretense. Fine. You want the truth? Richard was weak. His mother was interfering. Just like your precious mommy here. Sometimes people need to be removed. Like Derek? Jason's face has gone pale. Derek should have kept his mouth shut. Just like you should have trusted me instead of digging into things that don't concern you. Police sirens wail in the distance. Emily's face contorts with rage. She reaches into her purse, and everything explodes into motion. A gun appears in her hand. Jason shouts. I move without thinking, decades of maternal instinct driving me forward. The gunshot cracks across the airfield. Pain blooms in my shoulder, but I'm still moving. Emily's gun clatters away as we grapple. All the rage, all the pain of the past months pours out as we fight. I won't let you hurt anyone else, I gasp. Emily laughs, high and broken. You still don't get it, do you? I always win. Always. Not this time. Police flood the airfield. Jason is shouting something. Emily tries to twist away, to reach for her fallen gun, but I hold on. Even as my vision blurs from blood loss, I hold on. Because this isn't about winning anymore. It's about stopping the cycle, protecting what's left of my family. Even if it costs me everything. The last thing I see before consciousness fades is Jason's face, tears streaming down his cheeks as he finally sees the truth. The hospital room is quiet except for the steady beep of monitors. My shoulder throbs, but it's nothing compared to the weight of the manila envelope in my lap. Inside are Emily's full confessions, extracted during hours of police interrogation. Every manipulation, every crime, every carefully orchestrated tragedy. Jason sits in the visitor's chair, looking at his hands. We haven't spoken since the airfield, since he watched his wife try to kill his mother. The silence between us feels like another wound that won't heal. Lily's flight lands tonight, he finally says. Mark's picking her up from the airport. I nod, unable to find words that don't taste like ashes. Did you know? His voice cracks. When you gave Emily the house deed last year, did you know she was planning this? I knew something wasn't right. The envelope crinkles under my fingers. But I wanted you to be happy, to have the family you deserved. The family I deserved. He laughs, hollow and broken. I helped her destroy everything. I believed her lies about you, about Derek, about... He stops, swallowing hard. I can't fix this, can I? Before I can answer, Derek appears in the doorway, leaning heavily on a cane. His injuries from the accident are still visible, but his eyes are clear. They're moving Emily to maximum security, he says. She tried to bribe a guard. Jason flinches at his wife's name. I watch him struggle with the weight of everything he's learned. How Emily used him to access Richard's insurance money. How she manipulated him into turning against me. How every moment of their marriage was built on calculated lies. The house is yours again. Jason stands abruptly. I've already signed the papers. And Mom. He reaches for words that won't come. I know, I say, but I don't know what I know anymore. The victory feels empty, tainted by the cost. Derek clears his throat. Richard's sister wanted you to have this. He hands me a small box. Inside is a simple silver locket, the one from the photo of Richard's mother before Emily destroyed her life. She said you'd understand, Derek adds quietly. I do understand. The locket represents everything Emily tried to break, the bonds between mothers and children, the trust that holds families together. But as I hold it, I realize something else. I've become what I fought against. In my quest for revenge, I wielded the same weapons Emily used: manipulation, secrets, calculated strikes at the heart. I should go, Jason says. Lily will need... Someone should be there when she gets home. Home. The word echoes strangely. Jason! I call as he reaches the door. The height marks on the kitchen door frame. He turns back, confusion crossing his face. Emily painted over them, but they're still there, under the surface. I touch the locket. Some things can't be erased, no matter how hard someone tries. Understanding dawns in his eyes. He nods once, sharply, and disappears down the hall. Derek settles into the vacant chair. Emily asked to see you. No. She says she has more secrets to share. About Jason, about... I don't care. I close the locket with a snap. Her secrets can die with her. He studies me for a long moment. You won, Summer. She's going to prison. The truth is out. Why doesn't it feel like enough? Through the window, I watch Jason cross the parking lot, shoulders bent under invisible weight. In my hand, the locket feels both lighter and heavier than it should. Because there are no winners here, I say. Only survivors. The monitor keeps beeping, marking time in a world that feels permanently altered. Somewhere, Emily sits in a cell, probably already planning her next move. Lily's plane crosses the ocean, bringing her back to a home that's both familiar and forever changed. And I sit here, holding a dead woman's locket, wondering if revenge and justice were ever really the same thing. The truth didn't set anyone free. It just gave us different chains to carry.